What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Marketflow, powered by Thor, hosted by me, Mode. We're not even going to waste any time. We are going to get right into the chart because we've got Solana throwing up a big green dildo right now. Just this 1 4-hour candle went about 8%. And the thing that's really significant about this is it's not down here on the bottom, right? It's not a big green candle straight out of the bottom like we saw here. Here we had a couple candles bring us out, but not even a candle as large as this. What's significant about this candle is this is a candle that is printing off of the support of the EMA, off of the support of the RSI. This is a 4-hour chart. Off of the support of the RSI, off of the support of the 50-day, off support in the middle of our DCA zone, right? So this isn't just a big, strong bounce out of the bottom. This is a big, strong bounce off of a support, right? We are seeing a little bit of potential temporary resistance right here at the long-term EMA, the 200. That's completely to be expected. All we want to see is, do we hold above these zones? Do we hold up on the RSI? Do we keep printing above the short-term EMA? And do we get out of our zone? Do we keep moving up? We've got news of the Solana ETF. Remember what happened with Ethereum. When Ethereum, there was news of the ETF. We got a giant set of candles. On the daily, this candle actually brought in more volume than the market cap of Solana. Significant. Remember, we called for this retest coming back here. It took a little longer than we thought. I thought it was going to come down pretty violent. Took a little longer than we thought. But is this going to be our breakout, our retest long term? But look what news of the ETF did. We now have news of the ETF for Sol, and we've got a big candle printing to show support of that. One thing to note that we talked about, we talked about last stream. Solana had taken a 30% retrace when Bitcoin, let me bring my chart back down here, when Bitcoin had only taken a 10% retrace from the high down to before the last dump, right? Then what happened? Bitcoin takes another 10% retrace from here, almost 10%. Solana only took the same, another 10%, not another 30%, right? Showing the strength of the alts, showing that the bottom could be close to in. Then we get the breakout, support, and then we get news of the ETF. It's almost like the news lined up with the charts and the market makers, but that would all be coincidence and conspiracy theory, right? Anyway, what are we looking at here for Sol? We found support inside of our DCA zone. We said this zone, zooming out, could potentially be one of the best entries that we would get for the rest of the bull run. If we tested this long-term support, if we tested the last high in the leg of the bull, if we tested that again for support, it could be excellent entries for the rest leg of the bull. Where we're at now is we still have this very significant zone between the 150 and 160. We need to break through that zone, find support on it significantly, find support on it. If we break out and find strong support on top 160, I see us going up to 260, pressing new all-time highs, heading up to 260. Retesting all-time highs, I should say, at the 260. If we can't break through, if we can't get through and hold the RSI, if we can't get through the long-term EMA, if we can't get through this 150, 160 zone, I still think it's extremely bullish if we come back and hold supports at around 130. However, if we do lose and continue to make a lower low, that is kind of scary, and that does keep more in play and more in reality our DCA zones of 90, 80, and then the Thor call down here at 65. But remember, even that Thor call at 65 and those DCA zones for my own TA will be invalidated right here. If we break the last local high at 190, we break that, Thor invalidates those zones. I no longer think it's a probability we may see that 90, and I think we're in this bullish pattern playing out. All right, that's Solana. That's Solana with the news of the ETF. What's happening with Bitcoin? Where's the rest of the market? If we look, we're still within. Remember, we said anything within here is just noise. It's not showing any significant direction, anything to really panic out of long term. When I say long term, I'm talking about post-halving, had one leg of the bull, post-halving, and ETF money coming in. All of this is noise that I'm not worried about, right? So, that being said, what did we see from Bitcoin? Solana just had an over 23% pump. Bitcoin has had a 7% pump, and as you can see, at least temporarily right now, it's meeting resistance in our DCA zone and on the short-term EMA. That's to be expected. Solana, with the news, found support on the short-term EMA, ripped right through it. Very bullish. Another sign of this that's bullish. If we go to the Solana BTC chart, we can see longer term, Solana has broken out of the downtrend against Bitcoin. Even though it was not an immediate retest, we still found a higher low comparatively. We're still holding that higher low. We broke out long term. We've now broken out on the shorter term, found support on the EMA. Looks like we're even finding support on the long term EMA. We should see the bullish cross soon, and we've got a bit of a fair value gap established between Bitcoin and Solana. All this is really looking bullish to me for altcoins to come in and have their day, right? It's time for I still think we're going to see Bitcoin continue this uptrend that it's currently on right now. I do think we're going to see Bitcoin come up, not only retest these zones at all-time high at 74, retrace, test the EMAs and the longer-term support down here at 67, fill this Thor long call, show strength. I think Bitcoin is then going to head up to 82 to 84,000. And I think once we break that 82 to 84,000, we get up in these zones. Like I said, we start moving up, legging up, higher highs, higher lows, legging up. We now significantly break all-time highs. We add another 10K to all-time highs. That's when I think we're going to see Bitcoin dominance start to recede. Bitcoin price action may continue to go higher, right? But Bitcoin dominance, I believe, will start to drop at that point, and that's when we're going to see altcoins blow past, really catch up, blow past their all-time highs and go into price discovery like Bitcoin has. That's when we see what people call alt season. Now, we've talked about Bitcoin, we've talked about Solana, we've talked about ETFs, we've talked about our levels. We really went into these levels specific on the last video you can watch as well. We know our bullish, we know our bearish scenarios. We've talked about Bitcoin, talked about Solana, we've talked about alts. What about memes? I'm going to talk about memes on Solana because that's where we are, right? If we look at POPCAT, POPCAT was the first meme to really break out of its downtrend and send into new all-time highs last leg, right? It was the first one to really break out and go for those new all-time highs. We have seen extreme strength from POPCAT. It's the first to break out the longer-term downtrend, the shorter-term downtrend, and we've already seen over 100% pump, still looking very, very strong as it's heading toward the all-time high. This is strong. This is what led the rest of the meme coins the last cycle. The fact we're seeing this again, very bullish in my opinion for memes. Don't get caught up in cabal backed coins. If you are, at least make sure you're getting your good buys down low. You're getting those 60 to 80% retraces, and you're not buying here after we've already made 100% pump, right? You want to look to the tokens that are still offering you good DCAs. One of the coins that has been my favorite recently for long-term accumulation, for use of the protocol, for longevity of the protocol, and for simply just a trade has been Jupiter. Why? Because we're still down in those great ranges. We're still down here. It's 60% down, right? We tapped right on our DCA of 71. We got it perfect. We actually tapped it twice. We got what we wanted. A retest and a break back into the zone, not just finding resistance on it. We found the resistance, right? Now we found support in the middle of the zone. We're pressing up. We're probably going to see resistance here at 90. I believe there's even a Thor. Let's go look. Let's not even predict. Let's not even call. Here's the power of Thor. Now that was a fair value gap that I had established that we were just looking at for Jupiter. That was a fair value gap I had established. While that's loading, what do I mean? That was a gap back here where we saw price action jump. So I expected to see a retest here. We had an area here where price action jumped with just wicks in it, but no red candle close between 82 and let's just call it 90 to 91. So if we remove the noise, we just pull up Jupiter. We have a short at between 91 to 93 and a take profit of 86, which is basically that exact zone we established. So that is literally this right here. This, look for us to test resistance, look for us to test and try to find support on the zone. That Thor short is literally entry, exit. So again, this is just makes me even more bullish on what I'm seeing from Jupiter right now. But just like we saw POPCAT break out, we're going to see other meme tokens and things do the same thing. I mean, Ponky, okay, we're seeing another meme up there on the top of the DEX. I got to bring it up just because it's frogs. Kira, we're breaking a downtrend. We're refilling the zone. We've got art upgrade coming. We've got way more than just art upgrade coming. We've got an entire revamp of the protocol. We've got rebranding coming. We've got more than I even want to tell you about or try to make you FOMO into this coin. I'm not trying to make you FOMO. You don't want to buy it? Fine. Don't. I'm going to take profits on all this kind of shit, and I'm going to buy tokens that are offering me the deals down in the bottom that I want to get. If you're not doing the same, we're not built the same. If you're finding yourself on the wrong side of that probability, join Cyberfrogs. Come in on Mondays with Rumpty and Cyber Dojo, learn about frogs. Come in on Tuesday evenings with Marketflow. Start to learn about these charts and about these Thor zones and about how we were ready to load up on Solana at this point. about how we were not only ready for Bitcoin to make the retrace, but we took profits on Bitcoin making the retrace. And then we knew to start DCAing here below 62. If you're not doing that, join us Tuesdays with Marketflow. Join us Wednesdays decoding the markets with Drex. Join us on Thursday mornings here on Marketflow. You don't even need a cyber frog for this shit. If you are having trouble in the market still, use Thor. You need a frog for Thor. The more frogs you have, the more calls you get. If you can't make money with all these calls that are 70% profitable when triggering, that's on you. You need to learn risk management. And by the way, every single call will teach you how to manage risk. Click the button, put in the amount you're willing to lose per trade, hit calculate. It tells you exactly when to enter, how much to buy, when to exit, and where to set your stop loss. This is powerful. If you still don't understand trading, keep joining us. Keep learning and maybe consider entering your money into AutoThor. AutoThor is the Frogs protocol that is an automatic hedge fund trading algorithm that currently has just under 1.5 mil TVL locked. If you weren't selling your Solana at above 170 and buying it back from basically 160 and loading up all the way down here, maybe you should consider letting Thor do the trading for you. AutoThor taxes you on your profits, and the more frogs you have, the less you pay in taxes. If you're not making money in these markets, you're not here with Cyber Frogs. Frogs fuck, Thor prints, Solana's getting an ETF. See y'all next week.